You have seen pigeons your entire life, thousands of them, on rooftops, on statues, on park benches, fighting over a piece of bread someone dropped outside a sandwich shop. You have walked past pigeons so many times that you have completely stopped seeing them. But here is something that will make you stop and think. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? Not a small pigeon, not a young-looking pigeon, an actual baby, a chick, the kind of helpless, fluffy, just-hatched creature that every other bird in the world seems to have no problem producing in public. You haven't. Almost nobody has. And once you notice that, it becomes genuinely difficult to stop thinking about it. Where are they? Where do they come from? How does a city with literally millions of pigeons produce zero visible babies? The answer is not what you expect, and it reveals something about pigeons that most people never knew, which is that pigeons are one of the most successful and fascinating urban animals on the planet, hiding an entire chapter of their life somewhere you would never think to look. The reason you never see baby pigeons starts with where pigeons choose to build their nests. Pigeons are what biologists call cavity nesters. In the wild, before cities existed, they nested on cliff faces, high up, tucked into rocky crevices, invisible from below, protected from predators by sheer inaccessibility. When humans built cities, pigeons looked at our architecture and saw cliffs, tall buildings, ledges, the underside of bridges, the space behind air conditioning units, the gap between a billboard and the wall behind it. To a pigeon, a city is just a cliff face with better food options. This means pigeon nests are almost always above eye level, tucked into spaces most people would never think to look, and often physically inaccessible even if you knew where they were. The nest itself is not impressive. Pigeons build what ornithologists describe as one of the most minimal nests in the bird world. A loose collection of sticks, some debris, maybe a few feathers. The kind of construction that looks accidental rather than intentional. But the location is everything. High, hidden, enclosed, and usually somewhere humans have no reason to go. That is where baby pigeons are, right above you, in the city you walk through every day, in spaces you have never looked at and would need a ladder to reach. Even if you knew where to look, the timing works against you. Baby pigeons spend about 30 days in the nest before they fledge. That sounds like a long time, but here is the critical detail. By the time a pigeon leaves the nest, it is almost the same size as an adult. Other birds leave the nest while they are still visibly young. You have seen baby sparrows hopping awkwardly on the ground, baby ducks following their mother in a line, baby seagulls standing on rooftops looking confused. They leave while they are still small, still learning, still obviously babies. Pigeons do not do this. Pigeon parents feed their chicks something called crop milk, a protein-rich liquid produced in the parent's digestive system that is so nutritionally dense that chicks grow at an extraordinary rate. 30 days of that feeding in a hidden nest, and by the time the chick steps out into the world for the first time, it is full-sized. That is why you cannot identify a baby pigeon on the street. You have definitely seen them. You have seen them and thought they were adults because they look exactly like adults. The giveaway signs are subtle. Slightly shorter tail feathers, a ring of fluffy down still visible around the neck, eyes that are dark rather than the orange-red of a mature bird. But unless you know what to look for, a baby pigeon in a park looks exactly like every other pigeon in the park. Let's talk about crop milk for a moment because it is genuinely strange. Crop milk is not milk in the biological sense. Mammals produce milk from mammary glands. Pigeons are not mammals. What pigeons produce is a secretion from the lining of the crop, a pouch in the digestive system that sloughs off in nutrient-rich chunks and gets regurgitated directly into the chick's mouth. Only two other birds in the world produce something similar, flamingos and emperor penguins, which is an extraordinary group to be in. The nutritional profile of pigeon crop milk is surprisingly close to mammalian milk, high in protein, high in fat, rich in antibodies and immune-boosting compounds. It is why pigeon chicks grow so fast. It is also why pigeon parents look exhausted during the nesting period, because producing crop milk is metabolically expensive. Both parents do it equally. Pigeons are unusual among birds in that both male and female parents contribute equally to feeding the chick, and both produce crop milk. That shared parenting is part of why pigeons are so successful. Two committed parents, extraordinary food source, hidden nest, fast development. The system is almost perfectly designed to keep the chicks invisible and safe until the moment they are old enough to survive on their own. Here is the part of the pigeon story that most people do not know. Pigeons are not wild animals that moved into cities. Pigeons are domesticated animals that we abandoned. The rock pigeon, the bird covering every city on Earth, is descended from birds that humans domesticated thousands of years ago. We bred them for food. We bred them to carry messages. We used them as communication infrastructure across empires. Homing pigeons delivered messages in both world wars. A pigeon named Cher Ami saved the lives of nearly 200 American soldiers in World War I by carrying a message through enemy fire after being shot, losing a leg, and partially losing an eye. And then we developed better technology, and we stopped stopped needing them and we let them go, and they went to the cities, where the food is abundant and the architecture looks like home, and they have been there ever since. The pigeons you walk past every day are the descendants of birds that were our partners for thousands of years. They have been living alongside humans for so long that they have essentially forgotten how to live without us, and we, in the way that humans often treat things they no longer need, have forgotten them entirely. There are an estimated 400 million pigeons on Earth. In cities like New York, London, and Paris, pigeon populations run into the hundreds of thousands. Every single one of those birds came from a nest that you have never seen, raised on food that no other bird produces, growing to full size in 30 days in a hidden location above the city. And here is the final detail that makes this strange. Pigeons breed almost year-round. In warm urban environments, a pair of pigeons can produce up to 6 breeding cycles per year, 2 eggs per cycle. That is a lot of baby pigeons being born, growing up completely invisible and emerging into the adult population without anyone noticing. You have been living alongside a hidden breeding population your entire life. The baby pigeons are there. They have always been there. You just never knew where to look. So why do you never see baby pigeons? Because they are hidden in the architecture above your head, growing at a speed that no other urban bird can match, fed on a substance that only 3 bird species on the planet produce, descended from animals that were once our partners and are now invisible to us in an entirely different way. Next time you walk past a pigeon, look up. The nest is probably closer than you think. And if you see a pigeon with a slightly short tail, dark eyes, and a little fluff around the neck, you are looking at a baby. You just never knew what one looked like until now.